Thanks for joining us. I was asking you before we were rudely interrupted by the network. Akinwumi Ambode did not get a second term. What has Sanwo-Olu done differently to deserve this sort of endorsement?
I think that Sanwo-Olu has gotten his politics right. You know, the real sin, the cardinal sin of Akinwumi Ambode was the fact that he got his politics wrong. He operated some sort of a closed system that shut out a lot of senior party executives from the inner workings of his government. And that doesn't seem to be the case with Sanwo-Olu, who has, in Nigeria's political parlance, carried a lot of the party faithfuls along. He's played his politics right. He's been close to both, party officials and cabinet members, and to that extent, it's been almost an impossible decision for the party leadership to drop him for a second term. So you can rightfully say that he's earned his space by playing internal politics as well as anyone could ever do.
How big is this endorsement by the APC national leader, Bola Tinubu, in the grand scheme of things?
Yeah, you can't contextualize how big the endorsement is. It is his pathway to office, if we have to put it, in reality. The endorsement of the leadership of the APC, especially Bola Ahmed Tinubu in Lagos, is almost as good as a guarantee for him to get a second term in office. As you have seen over the years, the opposition party, or the major opposition party in Lagos, the PDP, has been able to put up a decisive opposition against the APC in Lagos State. Their numbers have continued to tank over the years. And so you rightfully can say that an endorsement from Chief Ahmed Tinubu is as good as a return to Alausa for Babajide Sanwo-Olu. So that endorsement is everything that he could ever dream and pray for.
For someone who is in the media and knows what's going on, has been keeping an eye on things, how would you assess the performance of the duo, Sanwo-Olu and Hamzat, in the last few years?
Well, that's a very interesting question that you have asked. And usually when I get asked this question, I always like to know, what context. Because the problem that we have in Nigeria in assessing leadership is that we don't have an agreed set of benchmarks or context that we can use to measure, the leadership that we have, whether it's at a local, state, or federal level. So if we agree as a people as to what qualifies as better governance, whether it's education, healthcare, security, the economic well-being of the state. That way, we can give a better assessment of those who are in office. But at the moment, we don't seem to have an agreed set of indices that we can use to measure the performance of people in office. But just to answer your question, I think that he has been faced with 2 or 3 major challenges as governor. One was the COVID-19, another was the EndSARS movement. For the COVID, he looks like one of the very few governors who rose up to the challenge. He led from the front, and very few people would doubt that he provided leadership in that period. For EndSARS, that might be a different kettle of fish entirely. So I would really say that he just slightly goes above the average mark for me, with his performances in Lagos. Nothing spectacular, nothing out of the ordinary, nothing to drive me crazy. But on the other hand, he's not done so poorly. So you could just place him somewhere in the middle and give him some C+, for his performance in Lagos so far.
You said nothing exciting for you, but I mean, you've given him your assessment. On the flip side, I'd like you to speak on how vibrant you think the opposition is in Lagos.
Really, to be honest, I don't. it's very hard to measure the vibrancy of the opposition in Lagos because the truth is the APC has been quite dominant in Lagos State. And because they have been in government for the last 20 years, they have the resources, whether financial or coercion, to maintain their stay in power, and makes it difficult for opposition political parties to make inroads. But then if you look at the numbers again closely, and I'm talking about the numbers of voting in Lagos State over the last 12 years particularly, you will realize that the numbers that the APC are accruing to win elections have been shrinking over time. The last time they did less than 800,000 votes to win the governorship election, and their last senatorial election in Lagos East, they did less than 100,000 votes to win. So their numbers are shrinking, which presents a huge opportunity for opposition political parties to put up a decisive challenge, because there's a huge number of citizens who do not come out to vote on election day in Lagos State. And if opposition parties can tell a compelling story and get people out of their houses to vote, then the APC might be in a lot of trouble in Lagos. But the inability of the opposition political parties to inspire people who would rather be at home on election day, is the elephant in the room. As long as this voters who are undecided refuse to come out and vote, or are not inspired to come out and vote, the opposition will find it difficult to put up a meaningful challenge, against APC's dominance in Lagos State.
Whether we like it or not, the elections are here next year. And one thing is to endorse. The other is for the people to actually vote the endorsed candidates. What are the chances of the Sanwo-Olu duo for a second term?
Listen, let's call a spade what it is, and not a farming implement here. The chances of a second term for the gentleman is almost as good as 90%. And I'm speaking as one who is also a political operative and who is a strategist. And I can tell you for free, it will be almost, it's too short a time to pull off an upset against Sanwo-Olu in 2023. So, there aren't going to be any upsets here. There's not going to be David against the Goliath, I'm sorry to say. Their chances are almost in the 90% region. That's the truth.
That is your, yeah. I'm sure someone else would maybe have a different opinion or share the same opinion with you. Hopefully we'll explore other opinions in the course of the coming days. Thank you very much, Ayodele, for speaking with us on the news.
Thank you for having me.